There are a lot of topics I want to make videos on, but thanks to my full-time job, I didn't get the time to make them. Last week I ended up doing like 49 hours over 5 days at my workplace. Like really, I was tired, weak, deprived of humanity and attention. I come home all excited to jump online and play some games with my friends. I fire up my console, downloaded the Storm Rising update for Overwatch. After a hefty 22 gigabyte download, I felt like jumping off a cliff because that event was a hella disappointing.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I kid you not, I sat there in my room thinking, what the heck did I just play? Is that it? Is that really it? It was over before it even began. The entire event was no more than 10 minutes long, even shorter if you're playing as other characters like Bastion or Orisa. I know it took me 8 minutes to complete the event as Bastion. Now I know how that woman felt who I wooed the whole night, teasing her and building up the excitement. Then after a long build-up, we get our groove on, and 8 minutes and 5 inches later, I'm huffing and puffing, I'm done, and she's just lying there in bed with that look on her face that says, is that it? I'm there feeling good about myself and how epic the entire thing was. Meanwhile, she's there thinking how much of an epic disappointment I was and how her entire night was ruined. To that lady, I will not name you, but I hope that one day you get to see this video. I would like to say that now I know what you felt like, because that is how I felt when I played Overwatch Storm Rising. I understand your disappointment. Oh shit. But really, the entire thing just reeks of microtransactions and getting you to buy those loot boxes so you can get those legendary skins. I mean, that's where the money is. That is how Activision Blizzard make most of their money. Those darn loot boxes. Okay, I'm all over the place right now because there is a lot for me to go through, so I need to structure my thoughts a little bit. Let's start with the actual event. The story-driven event is so short that I wonder why did they make the entire thing as a playable mission? I mean, they could have easily released it as a comic book or an animated short. There's no substance there, and it doesn't really add anything new to the lore either. And as far as the actual mission is concerned, it goes something like this. Press L3 here, shoot some enemies here, shoot some enemies here, survive an ambush in the distillery here, escort the payload here, press L3, and there you have it. That's it. Compare that to the first storyline event they brought out, the Uprising one with Mercy, Torbjorn, Reinhardt, and Tracer. That event was pretty cool. It was lengthy, there were some awesome moments in it where you have to protect the payload so it doesn't take damage. It was set on the same King's Row map with some aesthetical changes, but the layout was the same. It just gave a little backstory to the map, which was good. The following year we got the Blackwatch event, which I have to say was pretty good. Blizzard really nailed that one. There were different kind of enemy types, some scripted moments which were pretty awesome, a lot of banter between the characters that made them more likable, and the event overall felt like it added more to the lore of the game. But Storm Rising, oh my god, I could not believe what I was playing. The enemies were the same as the Blackwatch events, even the dropships were the same. The truck that was filled with explosives was just there in the distillery, just waiting to be escorted. You didn't have to secure it or anything, it was just there. This event really feels like it was lazily put together, that the designers of the mission just didn't give a damn. It's like Jeff Kaplan woke up one night with a cold sweat running down his face and he was like, oh my god, we are not making enough money from those loot boxes. I need to get something rolling before Activision drops a hammer on us too. And that's what it's all about, the money really. Look at all the skins they have rolled out this year. They probably spent more time on the skins this year than the actual event.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack. His jewelry, whack. His foot stance, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that Somebody doesn't even like to smile. Whack. Me, I'm tight as fuck.
If you need any more indication that Blizzard is more interested in monetizing the crap out of their products, especially Overwatch, then look no further than this event. And the worst part is some fans are actually defending it. They actually think that this event is substantial. I would love to show you all the tweets and replies on YouTube and Twitter of the people supporting this event, but I can't because I don't want YouTube to think that I'm bullying or harassing these people. But seriously, I can understand that you're not exactly paying extra to play this event, but the actual meat on the bone, the skins of the characters, they're locked behind a paywall in the form of a loot box where the odds are stacked heavily against you. And these are the kind of fans that Activision Blizzard is targeting, not me, the gullible one who whips out his or her credit card and buys 11 loot boxes because that's only $10. And this year it's even worse because you not only run the risk of getting the low tier items like sprays and voice lines of this year, the things people care less about, you run the risk of unlocking sprays and voice lines from the last two events as well. And even though the risk of you getting duplicates is extremely low,
surprise, motherfucker,
there is still a chance that you may get duplicates. And then there's a chance that if you bought like 50 loot boxes to get that one skin you wanted, but you end up getting that skin in the second loot box, now you have 48 loot boxes left that can unlock items that never interested you. And how do I know? Because I have been there. I was one of those idiots who used to whip out their credit or debit card to get 50 loot boxes. In my mind, the cost of getting 50 loot boxes is around the same as getting a brand new game. So I would have simply skipped buying a new game that month and settled on these loot boxes. I have been there, okay, and I'm speaking from personal experiences. I know because I work in the gambling industry. I know how the industry works. For those who do not know, I live in England and gambling is legal in the UK. I work for a high street betting firm. I deal with gamblers on a daily basis and I have been dealing with them for more than 15 years now. I know how gambling works and loot boxes are just another form of gambling. And the way Blizzard does this is quite diabolical really. They bring out new skins which create a sense of demand among the fans of the game, but because it is a timed event, it creates a sense of urgency that compels an average buyer into buying loot boxes. Now I have heard companies say that loot boxes are not a form of gambling because in essence you're not losing your money. You're getting something in return. True, you're always getting something out of a loot box, but you're not getting what you want all the time. You're paying for something that sits in the middle that determines the odds of you getting the item you want. Let me tell you something, if you try to buy something but there are odds involved in that purchase that may result in you not getting what you are paying for, it's gambling. Simple as. Now you might be thinking that not everyone buys these loot boxes. To put it in perspective, suppose there are 1 million people who play Overwatch. I'm just assuming here, I don't have the exact numbers, but let's assume there are 1 million people who play this game. If only a small number of people pay for loot boxes during these timed events, say 10% of those 1 million players pay for loot boxes, that's 100,000 players. And if they pay just $10 during these timed events, that's $1 million of revenue generated through these loot boxes per event. And we all know that Overwatch has many timed events in a year. And yeah, people can spend less than $10, but there are people who spend more than $10 too. I'm just assuming the numbers here, but honestly, I would love to see how much revenue Blizzard actually generates during these events. And you can tell that profits are right now the main focus of the company. Published on Polygon in February 2019 was the article, Activision Blizzard cuts hundreds of jobs despite record revenue year. In other words, Activision Blizzard generated record-setting revenue but decided to get rid of 800 employees. Now, I'm not a big fan of Jason Schreier, But the guy does some really impressive journalism. He wrote an article on Kotaku, "With Activision's influence growing, Blizzard is cutting costs." In the article it says, earlier this year, new Blizzard CFO Amrita Ahoja, who also came from Activision, told employees during an all-hands meeting that it was time to start reining in their spending. That was a common theme at many of Blizzard's departments this year, according to those who were there. That speech from Amrita about cutting costs, that wasn't a one-time thing, said one person who worked on a non-development team. We were told to cut costs on a monthly basis. That explains everything. Why Diablo Immortals, the highlight of BlizzCon 2018, was a mobile game, why there is more and more focus on Overwatch League, which I bet generates Activision Blizzard loads of cash in the form of sponsors and ad revenue on Twitch, why all the legendary skins are locked behind a timed event. Now I bet some of it is not even news to you all, but I wanted to make this video and share my disappointment with the world. It just pains me to see something I loved and adored so much devolve into something that reeks of microtransactions and money-making schemes. I remember going to conventions and meeting other Overwatch fans who loved the game as much as I did. Met some amazing cosplayers. I even met some of the voiceover actors. Special shout out to Chloe Hollins who voiced Widowmaker and Lucy Pohl who voiced Mercy, because those two were amazing. And I recall having a good time with them too. But now with the game going downhill, I don't think I would want to go the extra mile to support the game. I'm not saying that there will be no more free content for Overwatch. Blizzard will keep on bringing out new maps and heroes just so they can keep their players, but new skins and emotes, they will be locked behind a paywall of a timed event, because that is how business work. The aim behind every business is to generate revenue, and Blizzard knows that this is how they can generate revenue. I can't really blame the company for employing such tactics to get their revenues up, but honestly the only people to blame here are the people who supported the loot boxes. And I own up here, okay? I purchased a lot of loot boxes last year, but I wanted to support the company that was giving me free content in the form of new maps and heroes. But now looking at the state of the company, how they're getting rid of people even after they made so much money, the poor working conditions at Blizzard, how little effort was put into the recent event, I can't support the company or the game anymore. That's why I stopped buying loot boxes. I don't even follow Overwatch League anymore. Now I know some of you might disagree with me, and you have every right to do so. I'm not gonna complain there, but as content creator, I think it's my responsibility to raise as much awareness as possible for an average gamer who may not look at the bigger picture or doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes. On that note, you know what, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Rate, comment and subscribe if you want to, but I recommend that you do, because it will only make my voice louder and my channel stronger. And frankly speaking, YouTube just buried my last video, which I put a lot of heart and soul in it, but because it had some buzzwords in it, obviously YouTube wouldn't recommend that video, now would it? So please do rate, comment, and can't speak now. So please do rate, comment and subscribe on my videos and on my channel, because I'm trying to speak the truth over here, well, trying my best anyway. So you know what, help me stand against the powers to be. Peace out people, and stay awesome.